Going in 10. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome, Jack, to the Salty Hack Experience. Everyone, this is Jack. We're going to start with your life before you found CrossFit. So where you grew up, maybe some sports you played, anything you'd like to tell us.
Okay. So, life before CrossFit. I found CrossFit when I was, I'll just work backwards, 23, 22 or something. So, had a decent amount of life before that. Grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago. Played sports from a very young age. Football, basketball, baseball. Tried hockey and soccer for a little bit, but those were the main three I stuck with for a while. Played football through high school. So I was introduced to fitness pretty young, and the football throughout high school, learned kind of the basics of lifting. Just working machines and bench, squat, deadlift, stuff like that. And then kind of on and off. Once I went to college, it was like, I remember the freshman 15 joke. I got to college and I didn't really realize, never counted calories before, really paid attention to what I was eating, because I would just sweat for 4 hours at football every day. And it was like, it didn't really matter what I ate. I kind of stayed in shape, and I got so fat so quick. And it didn't work out at all, because I didn't think it was that important. And I got pretty pudgy pretty quick. So then kind of woke up one day. I don't know if I should say, I don't know.
You can say whatever you want.
But I was brushing my teeth one day with my shirt off, and I was like, I need to gotta make some changes. So from that day on, I kind of made some changes, started going to the gym again, and the dining hall was like unlimited buffet of very good food, so it was dangerous. So so did that, and then kind of got into shape a little bit, and then got out of, I think it was at the end of my senior year of college, I found CrossFit, but my body went through a lot of changes. It was like I was maybe 185 pounds in high school, shot up 220, not a lot of muscle, and then had some kind of a bad relationship with alcohol and smoking weed, and then that brought me down into like 155 and 165, which is pretty crazy. So I wasn't really lifting, wasn't really doing anything, wasn't eating a whole lot, just wasn't really at a good place. And then worked my way back up into the 190s or so now. But that's kind of I never really found a consistent way to do fitness or be healthy. So that was kind of my life before CrossFit, I guess.
Where did you go to college?
University of Iowa.
Okay.
So grew up in Chicago, and then there's 3 hours west. So a lot of kids from high school went there. Pretty common school.
After college, did you move back home to Chicago?
Yeah. So after college, it was kind of my senior year. It was actually during COVID. And that's kind of when I woke up to, I know we'll probably get into this, but just drinking and smoking weed, it was like I kind of woke up and realized that I needed to make a change. So thankfully, a good thing from COVID is that you could do school online. So I was able to drive back and live with my mom, just kind of start that recovery process. So, and then since then, I stayed there for a few years before we moved out here, after I met Meg, and yeah.
Okay, so you had mentioned you were getting into alcohol and drugs a little bit. What time period is that? Were you in college?
So the first time I drank alcohol was in 8th grade, going into freshman year of high school.
Okay.
But I wasn't doing it that often then. And then kind of on and off through high school. And then sophomore year, going into my junior year of high school, started smoking weed a lot that summer. And then kind of stopped because I got caught by my parents. I got in trouble, so I stopped then. And then right when I got to college, I really started to not just daily weed smoker. And my dad passed away a couple days before my high school graduation, so that kind of threw me for a loop and kind of accelerated it, because I just started thinking about a lot of stuff that I never really thought about before, and death and stuff. And so I think that kind of accelerated it. And then once I went to college, it was I didn't have anybody watching over my shoulder like my mom, so it was just I could kind of do whatever I wanted. So that's really when I progressed then.
Okay, so you're in college, you start drinking, smoking a lot. what is a lot? Like, define that. What does that look like for you?
Every day.
Drinking and smoking?
For a while, it was just smoking, and then there was a summer where I didn't have an internship lined up, and I really started hammering out applications and stuff, and I knew that a lot of internships drug tests, and I was like, can't lose an internship over a drug test, so I started not smoking, and I realized, like, I didn't think I had a problem, and then I noticed when I stopped smoking, I started drinking, and I was finding an excuse every day, like, oh, class was super hard today, like, just a little bit of drinking here, like, got an A on a test, it was like, wow, let's celebrate with a drink, and I was, like, trying to tell myself I shouldn't, and then I kind of just accepted the fact that I'm going to do this every day, and then that was kind of when I realized that I had a problem. I didn't stop for a couple years, but yeah, daily. So I would wake up, sober, go to class, maybe go to the gym, get my homework done, and then I would do it in the evening time. So
Okay.
yeah.
So one thing I think that's really interesting about this story is that you're pretty young. So like I don't think it's uncommon for a lot of people to get into college, do the freshman 15 and start drinking a lot,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
they become legal and all those, and
For sure.
smoking alcohol or smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
So I feel like that happens a lot in college. So what was the turning point that you were like, okay, this is a problem?
Yeah. So there was a day. I haven't really told that many people this, to be honest. But I don't really care. But there was one day where we were drinking at this girl's. All the bars were shut down from COVID, so we were at this girl's apartment playing a drinking game, one of the stupid card game, whatever it is. But I was drinking some sort of hard alcohol or a Four Loko or something stupid, and that was the last thing I remember. And I woke up in the hospital.
Oh shit.
And yeah, like we're pretty cool. I don't really share this with that many people, but yeah. So I woke up in the hospital. I'm like, what happened? And they were like, we found you outside in near the parking garage at your business school, which was like the business building. Which I was like, just freaked me out, dude. Freaked me out. Like I've drank to the point where I don't remember multiple times, kind of a lot, but I've never like done anything stupid. Like it just freaked me out. And I went home and I'm like, I had to tell my mom because I just had to. And I told her and she was like, she kind of knew that I had a problem a little bit, but, and she was just like, you shouldn't touch anything until you figure this out. Cause it's just addiction's all over my family. Like my dad was the first Carroll to live past the age of 45, I think.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
everybody else, he wasn't an alcoholic, but everybody else was some sort of addict or alcoholic or some crazy thing happened, which was crazy. She's like, you should probably figure this out. And I was just like, okay. And then first thing I did when I got out of the hospital was smoke weed and watch football. It was stupid. But, and then that night I told my mom and I started like thinking, and then I called her later that next night and was just crying. And I'm like, yeah, I got a problem. And then I just packed a bag and drove home. And yeah, I don't know if this is an in-depth answer. But,
no, this is good. This is great.
Yeah, that was the total wake-up call. Like, okay, yeah, you have a problem, buddy. Like at some point you're going to deal with this, And it's like, and I remember too, it's like a lot of people usually change their behavior to meet their goals, And I was kind of at the point where I was really starting to change my goals to meet my behavior. You know what I mean? So it's like,
put it. I've never really heard it put that way.
yeah. So, that was the turning point. Where I was like, yeah, I probably should definitely deal with this,
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. And yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
When you were woke up in the hospital, what did they just take you to the hospital because you had passed out or something by the doctor? Or what was happening? Did you have to like
Somebody called. I was like, hey, there's some idiot passed out, drunk. You should come pick him up.
That night at all.
None.
Still
No
to this
recollection.
day.
No recollection. No. None.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you realized like, okay, I got a problem. So you realized you had a problem.
Yeah.
You drove home.
Mm-hmm.
What was next?
So for the next 30 days, it was like pretty hopeless, to be honest. I've never felt like that before. Because it was like, I don't know if it was exactly because I was smoking weed and like shoving dopamine into my brain. So it was like, once you pull that away for the first time in a very long time, it's like there's no natural dopamine getting created or whatever. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how that works. But I was very hopeless, and I was trying to see therapists and psychologists. They were trying to write me prescriptions for stuff, and I was like, I didn't, for some reason in my heart, I didn't feel like that was the answer, because I was a happy kid growing up, and like, I just didn't really understand what was going on. And then I kind of did some research on my own, and I knew that Alcoholics Anonymous was a thing, but I thought it was like kind of only for homeless people, or I didn't really know what it was. But my mom's boyfriend at the time actually was in recovery in AA, and they were on like their second date or something at a driving range, and my mom kind of opened up about it because it was a big deal in her life, like I'm just, her son crying, sad, hopeless, so she just brought it up, and he was like, I would love to take him to an AA meeting. And I was so hopeless, I went to AA, and because I was so hopeless. I was like, I either am gonna be a pothead or a drunk my whole life, because I can't live like this. Like I'm there's no sort of any positive emotion in my body without something running through it. And it was so scary. And it was almost harder than watching my dad die of cancer. So it was like, then it was like I still had hope for a good life, but this I was like, I'm like, that's who I am. Like, so very dark place. Went to AA. It was kind of weird. People sitting in a circle in chairs, like you kind of see in the movies. And I saw people that had the same relationship with drugs and alcohol as me, except they weren't doing them. They were happier than I've ever been. And I'm like, I want what you have. And they're like, just keep coming back, and it will happen for you. So I was like, okay. And then I went all in and went to a meeting every day for a very long time.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of talked prior to this. So you're in AA. Do you stick with that group for a while, that same group? Or do you go to different AAs, or?
Yeah, so where I went, it was, and they do it different. It's like, AA is the same everywhere, but some people it's like, one I go to here is in some church basement on Tuesday nights, but the place that we had in Mokina, Illinois, shout out. I don't know if we owned the building or what, but it was around the clock all day, every day, AA meetings.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So I went there primarily, and then I'd bounce into other places if I got invited, but made some really good friends there. And I would say the average age in AA is like not 21 when I got sober. It was like, so most of my good friends were like in their 30s and 40s, which is funny.
So you were 21 when you started going to AA.
Yeah. Yeah. And great group of guys. Still talk to them all the time, and started hanging out with them a lot, playing basketball, doing all sorts of things, going out to eat and stuff like that. But yeah, hung out with them, and kind of a lot of my friends weren't alcoholics, but they would still go to the bar, twice a week and watch sports or do whatever. So it was like I kind of wanted to remove myself from that because I was scared of doing it again. So right. I just kind of just rolled with these guys for a long time and still do. So yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so we kind of talked AA. There was like a little train of things that got you into CrossFit. So let's talk about that train of how you got into CrossFit.
So right when I got sober, or started to get sober, like I said, I was like 157 pounds or something like that, which is pretty light for me.
Do you have pictures of yourself at this time?
I do.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah. Yeah. I also have me at my peak fatness too. Show you. It's funny. But so I was like, okay, like I knew how to work out, so I started working out, just going to the gym and lifting for 30 to 60 minutes, and then right when I started to get sober and I got a job, which was like 40 minutes away from my mom's house where I was living, there was one of those really nice bougie Lifetime Fitnesses,
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, I think she was just like, whatever I can do to help you stay sober. And she bought me a membership there, this beautiful gym. So I'd go there every day before work. And
where were you working?
A place called Net Worth Realty. It's essentially what I do now in real estate, but it's residential real estate investment side of things. So so then started going there, and then once I don't really know how in depth with these answers I should get, but I got to, I'll just go there.
Okay.
So I got to the 7th step in AA. There's just 12 steps. I got to the 7th step where it's like, the 6th step is like, deal with your problems, like try and become a better person, like analyze yourself. Where do you need to get better? The 7th step is like, okay, what couldn't you deal with yourself? Like, give it to God and have Him try and take it away for you. So I was like, and at that point in time, I was like, I just thought the whole God thing was such a joke. And I was like, okay, that's like, and I just felt like an idiot. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I said that to my sponsor. I'm like, I'm not going to pray. It's just so stupid. And he was like, look where AA's gotten you so far, you know? Like, you're doing pretty well. You're 8 months sober, whatever it was. Like, just go through the motions tonight, feel like an idiot, pray, and we'll move on to the next step the next day. So I just prayed that night, and I was like, feel like an idiot. This is what I'm struggling with. Like, help me out. Okay. And then the next morning, it was like the 3 things that I prayed for completely relieved from me. Absolutely bizarre, incredible experience. Very weird. I was like, oh my God, like, is God real? What is this? So just started to explore that more, and met a girl at an AA meeting that she invited me to a Bible study, which I went to it, and it was like kind of cool, kind of weird. Met a kid, didn't go back, and then 3 or 4 months later, the kid that I met invited me to a different Bible study. And I was a little more mature, and like I was just thinking more about this whole higher power thing, and went to that Bible study, and it was at a CrossFit gym. And there's a cute girl running the Bible study, and she invited me to come to CrossFit, and because her mom owned the gym, and so that Bible study was on a Wednesday. I joined the gym that Friday, and then did CrossFit, and that cute girl is now my wife. A lot of you know, so yeah, and then and at the point of my fitness, then it was like I would go to the gym and I would lift, but it was like my heart rate wouldn't get above, 80 or 90, whatever. Like, so I would force myself to get on the treadmill at Stairmaster for 10 minutes and feel proud of myself for doing some sort of cardio. And I hated it. I just couldn't find a natural way to like efficiently work out, get my heart rate up. Like, I was just kind of like, I was just kind of bored of it. So it was a great mix up for me. It got my heart rate up, and it's competitive and it's fun. So kind of went all in then. And pretty soon after, canceled my other gym membership. And yeah.
Did you enjoy CrossFit right away, or were you like, what the heck is this?
I think my second day or something. Okay, my first week, we did wall walks, like day 2, and I was upside down, and I was down. I'm like, oh my God. And I remember driving home after, and it was like a 9-minute drive or something. And I was like almost at a pull over because there was so much blood in my head. I'm like, this thing is crazy. And then later that week, we did overhead squats. And I couldn't do the bar. And there was like old ladies next to me that were like doing way more than me. And it was just a very humbling experience, but challenging too. Like, okay, like it should be good to be able to lift something over my head. Like, so I thought it was a little out there, to be honest. And it's a little stigma behind CrossFit, like, which I'm totally a part of now, like, how do you know if somebody's doing CrossFit? They'll tell you about it type of deal. But, so I was kind of like, okay, but yeah, it was super fun and challenging and competitive. And then I did the open like a month after I went to my first class, which was fun, and seeing the vibe of that and everybody there, and like once getting better, like kind of not really being competitive, but like other people talking smack and, so I forget what we called it on Sunday mornings, but like there'd be like 10 of us that would show up, and we would kind of do like some of the more like competitive type of ideas, like we kind of talk smack or make teams and like have fun. So yeah.
Very cool. So you started CrossFit. Do you continue going to AA during this time?
Yeah, I still go to AA today. At least once a week, usually twice a week. But yeah, continue going. I would go still to that point. I'd go almost every day because it was just like, I don't know. It's great for recovery and staying sober. You know what I mean? And then once I started like getting back to a normal life and dating Meg and doing fun stuff, I kind of dialed it back a little bit and only go a few times a week. But still going, very involved in Alcoholics Anonymous. And then so Meg's mom, my mother-in-law, she obviously owned the gym, and she connected us with a group called the Phoenix, which is basically joining fitness and recovery. It's not like necessarily an AA thing, but it's just like people trying to stay sober, fitness, mesh together. So they do CrossFit stuff and rock climbing and hiking and biking, all everything you can think of, fitness, and just trying to connect people that are trying to live the similar lifestyle of like trying to avoid drinking and doing drugs. So got connected with them and started a chapter, I guess you could say it, at Meg's mom's gym. And so it was every Monday night. It was like I would kind of bounce in and out of meetings, but every Monday night I'd go to the same exact meeting. All my friends were there. It was like accountability meeting. No matter what, you're always there. So I'll go there, and then after that meeting, we would all drive straight to the gym, and anywhere from 5 to 20 people would come, and we would do CrossFit, and Meg would coach it, and just kind of have some camaraderie and fellowship and accountability, and obviously CrossFit's great for you for a variety of reasons, mental health, physical health. So it was great getting a lot of people that I met in that aspect of my life and bringing them to CrossFit and showing them that. And which was really cool. And Meg would coach for free. Dawn would let us, my mother-in-law would let us have the space for free. And all these people just come for free and work out.
So cool.
It was cool. So it was fun.
That is very awesome. How long did you go to CrossFit before asking Meg out?
Not that long. I went, it was a Wednesday when I went to the Bible study. That Thursday I joined the gym, and then I don't know, maybe a week or 2 weeks maybe. But I was still like, she was an interesting figure in my life, because it was like she fully believed in God and Jesus and the Bible, and I was like, had my AA God, but I was like, does that mesh with this Jesus thing? Like, what is this? Like, and I'm like kind of putting my foot in the water, testing the temperature, and I'm like, so at first she was kind of just more like the first time we ever did anything outside of Bible study or coaching me, I asked her to go out to lunch with me just to like pick her brain, honestly, on this whole God thing. And like, because there's a lot of things in the Bible that it's like, okay, what is that? What is this? What is that? There's a lot of reservations about it, and just had a lot of honest questions. So I guess, I don't know I guess you could maybe call it our first date, because I thought she was cute. So, but then, maybe 3 weeks later, I was like, hey, so, I know we went out to breakfast, but I'd love to take you on a real date, go to dinner or something. I forget what I said, but so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the evolution of Jack and Meg. So once you guys went on a date, you guys continuously dating from that point? Give us the timeline. So
that was, it was one of those, it's like I've dated girls in the past, obviously, and it was like, there was one girl I dated for like multiple years throughout high school and college, and I never really felt like I knew. I'm like, marriage, this, forever, that's scary. And Meg, it was like maybe 2 months in, I'm like, what boxes do we need to check here? Let's just get the ball moving. You know what I mean? So I had the conversation with her very early. It's so fun. It was so fun. And we dated the whole time. And I proposed maybe 8 months after that.
Okay.
And then we got married 6 months after that. And then a few weeks after our wedding, we moved out here. And then that's when you all know us. So.
Okay, perfect timing.
Yeah.
So you guys get married. You guys move to Utah. What was the move? What was the reason? How was the transition? What was it like? Yeah, so I didn't really plan on leaving Chicagoland. All my family's there. All of her family's there. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But obviously it's fun to say, like, well, we're getting married. Should we live somewhere fun? And it was like, in my head, I was always like, maybe the beach somewhere. It's about all I can think of. And she was like, I've always wanted to move to Utah. And I was like, Utah? I'm like, what's in Utah? I'm like, so I didn't really think about it too much. But then one of her best friends got married and moved out here. And we came and visited when we were still dating. And I was like, oh, Utah is kind of sick. These mountains. And I went to Park City before with my family to ski when I was younger. And I didn't realize that's right here. And I'm like, okay. And then we kind of started to think about it a little more. And we came out and visited again, and was really like, okay, let's actually think about this. Like, we're like high percentage chance we'll do this. And we just fell in love and prayed about it. Felt like God told us to come out here, and so we did. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I know that when you guys moved out here, a lot of things like really fell into place for you, right? Like your living situation, you guys both got jobs within your church, correct?
Yeah.
Could you give us a little bit about what that was like and what that looked like?
Yeah. So it's kind of, we prayed about it and we felt like God was telling us to do it, but obviously trying to hear from God is interesting sometimes. It's like, did he say that? Did he say that? So it was like interesting. And then so when I said Meg's best friend moved out here and, was living here, her husband is a pastor at a church out here. And he got us connected. We wanted to do premarital counseling, but our church didn't offer it. We didn't really know anything about it. And he was like, I got a great guy, who's Derek, who you've met Derek, but great guy. He did our premarital counseling before we had before we decided to move out here or anything. So once a week we meet with him, on Zoom to do premarital counseling. And he eventually, once we were like telling him about thinking about moving out here, and Meg was in the marketing department of a church in Chicago. It's a pretty big church. And he was like, I'm trying to start this kind of church organization that's going to be like a network of home churches, essentially what it is. And he's like, it's growing. We have no one on staff. Like, basically offered us both a job at this startup church thing, and said, so one of the people that are involved has a rental property in Taylorsville, and they would love for you to live at their house for free, and I'll employ you both. So that was kind of like, because we were like, jobs, I was trying to apply. I applied to 100 jobs. Nobody wanted me. I don't know why. And then that happened, and I was like, okay, guys, like, we're supposed to go out there, roll the dice, Worst case, we just move back. Okay.
Right.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, how did you guys find Salty Hive? And like, what was that process like? Was it like right away you guys were like, let's find a CrossFit gym? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So right when we moved here, it was kind of chaotic for a week or two. Like, the timing got mixed up, and the last tenants that moved out of this house was like kind of gross. We had to clean it and move stuff. And so the first week or two, we didn't do a whole lot, but it was like, we needed a CrossFit gym. Like, and it was sadly being Meg's mom's gym. Like, it was a special place, Meg born and raised there and stuff like that. So, just started looking up CrossFit gyms and started dropping in, and went to maybe 3 or 4 before Salty Hive in the area. And by far my favorite place was Excel. Shout out, beautiful facility. And it's like, honestly, like, great facility. And I still kind of do. It's fun going to the gym and just lifting and doing cables and stuff like that. So it's like, I get that, and my CrossFit membership was pretty appealing. But the CrossFit class, it was like, it was fun. It was great. But we really love community, And we were just like, before we were about to join, I'm like, let's just wait on it. Like, let's just maybe drop into one more or something. And then I found you guys on Instagram. You guys have awesome Instagram. And I was like, this place looks fun. And I was like, just thinking about the Open and the community of the Open. And like, depending on what you want out of a gym, like if you want beautiful facility, do you want community? Do you want it to be really small? Do you like it bigger? Whatever it is, you know what I mean? And a metric for us was how many people sign up for the Open. And I looked at all the other gyms we went to, and it was anywhere from like 5 to 20, because you could see it on the CrossFit website or whatever. And then I go to you guys, and I'm on my phone, and I'm like, that's a lot. Like, oh my gosh. And I just kept scrolling. It was like 100 and whatever. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And we came here and dropped in, and Justin was like, yeah, it's a big decision. See if you fit in, try a few classes. And we're like, that's awesome. We're hundreds of dollars into dropping in. Like, that was cool. And we just came and fell in love right away. So I don't know if it was our first class or our second one, but we're like, yep, run it up,
That's awesome. That's so cool. One thing that sticks out to me that you guys did right when you moved to Utah is we had a huge group of people go up to Cedar City for Summit Games. And I think it might have been, I don't know, randomly somebody, it might have been me, but someone was like, you guys should come up and like hang out.
Yeah.
And we all left and went to Cedar City, and then you guys came up and hung out. Did you guys stay with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys ended up staying in the big house. So what was that decision like?
We were just like, yeah, I remember. It's kind of crazy thinking back on it. It was like right when we joined the gym.
It was.
One, and I think it was you probably or somebody else. Maybe a couple people were like, dude, come hang out. Like, okay. And I don't really know why we said yes, because it's kind of weird because we didn't know anybody. And they're like, sleep at our house. I'm like, don't know who you are, but okay. So we packed a bag and went. And it was super fun going down there. And Utah is super cool with the comps out here. There's comps and stuff in Chicago, but there's just a certain vibe to the culture out here as far as fitness and CrossFit and all the different competitions you guys have out here. And it was really cool seeing that and in that barn. And it was like a really cool experience. And just hanging out at the house, and there's a lot of people there. It was a massive Airbnb. Like, I don't know if there's 20 or whatever it was.
Yeah, there was a ton.
Yeah. And just met everybody, and yeah, it was just, you could just smell the community here. You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, screw it. Let's go down there. And yeah, just met a bunch of good friends. It's like thinking back of like moving to Utah and like, and we've told Justin and Trish this because it's just so fun, but it's probably the biggest blessing of moving here is this gym, which a lot of fun, cool stuff has happened. So it's kind of a big thing. I think just it's a pretty bold statement, but it's like a bunch of our best friends are from here, you know? And yeah, so, and that was the start of it. So
yeah,
that
that
was
was
fun.
really cool. Like you guys coming down, I remember being like, that was really cool then to like come down. And it's obvious when people are gonna be a big part of the community, and that right there was like a huge sign. You guys have started quite the life for yourselves in Utah. You guys have done a lot of cool things. So I want to start with, first off, you guys just built a home.
Yeah.
How did that go? What was your like little process there?
Yeah. We didn't build it from scratch, but it felt like we did.
Right, that's right. You guys bought a home, but you guys completely gutted it and made it your own.
Yeah. So I'm in real estate. Basically, all I do, I just find gross fixer-upper houses, you know, and then I just decide what to do with them, whether I flip it or sell the contract to somebody else or stuff like that. So what I'm good at is finding gross houses, and I found a gross one. And it was like, we were kind of at the point where it's like, okay, time to get a house, like, or move, because it was like, we were at that church house for so long, and I'm like, been mooching off you guys for a while, started paying rent, and I'm like, let's just, I don't know. So found that, kind of just all the stars aligned, and it's funny because I work from home and just drive around looking at houses. Meg works from home, so it doesn't really matter where we live. And it's funny that literally we're like, okay, well, where do we go? The gym. So we're like, where's the perfect house? Probably close to the gym. So we live like 5 minutes down the road, which is just crazy that that's how we decided where we're going to buy our first house. But
it's very nice though.
Yes.
So
I feel bad because I still show up late sometimes. 'Cause, like, it's too easy. It's like,
sometimes it's almost worse because you're like, I'm 2 minutes away. I have about 5 minutes till I gotta be there.
Yeah. But when you do the math, like I go to 5-ish classes, you know, a week, and it's like doing the math, like, okay, if it's 10 minutes closer both ways, it's like so much time throughout the year. But yeah, so that house, it was a full gut. It was disgusting. It was repulsive. So we redid everything other than we kept the roof, the furnace, and most of the drywall, and everything else was gutted. And thankfully we had a couple months before we moved in to do most of it. I thought it was going to be done. It wasn't. We didn't have a kitchen. Meg was kind of mad. It's okay though. But yeah, so yeah, that was fun. And yeah, big blessing. So still a work in progress, but we're pretty much done. So
nice. That kind of leads me into my next thing is you guys were both working for the church. Meg ended up getting a job in a marketing place, and you decided to go head first into starting a business. So that business that you were like, I kind of just do this little stuff, that is your own business.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, how it started. Do you have partners? What you do? Tell us a little more on that.
Yeah, so my first job out of college was, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like most people coming out of college, I was like, my dad had a few rental properties that he acquired when I was younger. And when he passed away, it was kind of thrown on to my mom, my brother, and myself. So we were like, okay, we got to manage this little portfolio here. And which was just like a couple single family homes and a couple 6-unit buildings in the south suburbs of Chicago. So, but just seeing that and the books of it, I'm like, this is really interesting to me. So, got my real estate license and started working at pretty much just like a single family investment brokerage where we would just find houses, get them under contract, and then sell them to an investor for more than we had it under contract for. It's pretty much the easiest way I could explain that. So it's a pretty simple business model. It's called wholesaling. I know people probably have heard that before, but so I did that for a couple of years, and then we moved out here. And once I found out God was real, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to give my whole life to this. Like, I'm working for a church. Like, that's what I thought I was supposed to do. So, and then Derek hired us, and I'm like, okay, definitely, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then after getting rolling, I was like, learning I'm not very good at it. I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I kind of learned that I'm not supposed to be in full-time ministry. So it's like, and I was kind of had the idea of doing what I was doing for this company on my own. So I kind of got the ball rolling with that while I was working at that church. And then, yeah, just said screw it and quit and went all in. So,
That's lucky.
and yeah, had a little bit of money saved up, and it was a blessing living at that house. And yeah, and it took multiple months to make my first paycheck, but it was hard at the beginning, you know? And it was like, once I got down to the end, I remember people would like ask me, I wasn't coming to the gym very often. It was just work. Like, I knew it would work eventually. And I'm like, I just need to go absolutely all in before I'm like, run out of money and need to go get another job. So I'm like, I need to work. So finally got a deal. And then, yeah, from there, that was right after the open last 2 opens ago. So, and then, yeah, it's been an interesting, fun roller coaster since then. So,
Yeah. What is that like to just be, I mean, what's going through your head? Was it scary? Like, of just being like, I'm just going to go all in and we'll just see what happens. Like,
yeah, it was scary, but, it was like worst case scenario, like I have a degree. You could go find a job nowadays. Like if you have to, it's like I could go. Worst case scenario, like I'll just go back to doing what I was doing. It's really not, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like, and yeah, I just felt like I prayed a lot, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do. So I just did it, and it was like, so I quit that job like end of December. So it was like January 1, we got back from Chicago for the holidays, and I was like, okay, I'm going all in. And I didn't get my first deal until 4 or 5 months later, 4 months later. And then throughout that process, I got real close, you know, because real estate's weird because it's like, you don't get paid very often, but when you do, it's like, you know, multiple paychecks of what I'm normally used to. You know, it's like, it's very lumpy. And but I got so close so many times. I'm like, it's gonna work. But it was getting down to the nitty gritty. It was like looking at the bank account.
It's like, it's gotta work.
Yeah, it has to work. Like, so I literally stopped coming to the gym. I stopped, like, it was like all in around I didn't do anything else for a little bit, and then that paid dividends. And
cool.
So yeah, put in all that work, and then got a deal, and then kind of got slow again, and then got a deal, and it's been fun since. So yeah, hopefully it stays fun.
Hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah.
One big thing you guys have started since you've been here. So you guys went to, what was that church called again that you guys started at?
Yeah, it's called Salt City Underground.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a church, network of churches. It's yeah, it's basically like it's called underground because it's like in a lot of countries where Christianity is illegal or stuff like that. Like the only way to talk about Jesus is like doing it in house church. They call it underground model. So, yeah. And in places where Christianity is illegal, it's growing the fastest because they're doing this, which is interesting. And that's when Derek started looking into it. It's like, what is this? Like, so that's why it's called that. So it's like, yeah, the normal come and see model with churches, like, this is what we're doing, come and see it. Like, there's also a pretty big part of the Gospels where Jesus is like, go and tell, you know, go into community. So that's kind of what the model is like, yeah, so come and see, it's go and tell.
Cool. And now you guys have stepped away from that church and you guys have decided to run your own church at home. Is that right? Is that
essentially. Okay. I don't know if we'd say we like left that. It's an interesting organization. We don't really know exactly what we're doing, but it's like this model of, you know, this. It's kind of like a network of home churches is essentially what it is. So it's like we kind of are still.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like Derek, I wouldn't say we leave, but essentially, yeah, we host church at our house pretty much.
Okay, so how often are you guys hosting church?
Right now, we do kind of a lot. We do.
You guys do a lot.
Meg does a girls only Bible study on Tuesday nights, and then we host like whoever over every Wednesday night for a Bible study, and then Friday mornings I do like a guys only Bible study on FaceTime, and then right now it's every other Sunday. I think we're gonna do every Sunday. We like at 5 we host whoever to come, and we cook food for everybody and hang out, talk about God a little bit, and watch football essentially. So
Very cool.
yeah.
And is that opened to everyone? Do you guys like how do you get your what do you call? How do you get your people?
Yeah, it's open to everybody. I feel like the goal is for as many people to come to know the Lord as possible. So it's like if you it's I feel like a lot of people I appreciate you letting me talk about this on here. I know I feel like I'm talking about God a lot.
No, it's great.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't really have a desire to go step foot in a church for a variety of reasons. And that's kind of how I was when I first started learning about this whole higher power God thing. And it was like going and being able to just read the Bible and talk about it and be like, I think this is stupid. I think this is weird. This is confusing to me? Like, this is what I like. This is what I think it's saying, or whatever it is. It's like being able to have a conversation about it is huge. And you can't always do that in this big church building. So it's, that's kind of the idea behind it. And the more people, the better. I mean, if God is real, there's nothing more important to a human being than that. So it's like, okay, this is pretty much what we've devoted most of our, like, definitely the most important thing in our life. So that's why we pour into it so much. But yeah, obviously the more people, the better. And, very chill, low barrier entry type of thing. So yeah.
That is really cool. When we were in the Dominican, I remember Meg like mentioned it. She was like, "Yeah, I'm starting to like this. I've been starting to do this at home church, and I hadn't realized you guys had started that." And everyone was like, there was 2 couples that were like, "Oh, we actually want to do that. Like, we're gonna have to pick your brain on it." And I just didn't realize that was such a big, not a big, but like that's a thing that you do in Christianity. To me, that's never been something that happens with religion, I guess. It's always like, okay, you go to church and so I like the idea of like a little more intimate, like at home type. It's like there's no wrong way to do it. There shouldn't be, right? Like you're worshiping God in 100%. Whatever way is right for you.
Yeah.
So that is cool.
And I feel like a lot of people, it's really cool we just kind of just started doing the home church stuff. We're only like, we still don't really know what we're doing, but we know like if we feed people, they'll probably come hang out and we'll read a little bit and hang out and talk about it. So it's like, but I know on Friday mornings, it's like we read something, and I've invited a lot of my friends, and some people come and go, and it's really cool seeing some of my friends that have just had, whether they hated God, or they're mad at God, or whatever it is, or they didn't believe in it at all, and just like reading something and them saying like, just like I said at the beginning, like, that is bizarre to me, or this is stupid. Like, why does this happen? Why do bad things happen? Because we have all the list of things why people just get confused and just being able to talk about it. You know what I mean? So, and watching people like, come to a relationship with the Lord is like, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So that's the goal. Yeah.
So I'm curious, kind of going back to our earlier conversation, when you met Meg, you were like slowly dipping your toe in this thing. Yeah. What was the turning point for you to dive in?
Yeah, so I was just kind of blown away about Alcoholics Anonymous and the miracle that it did in my life, and seeing just the countless miracles of what it was doing in other people's lives, like, because most people that are sober in AA were like down bad. People don't usually go to AA because they're having a good time in life. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's like, but a lot of people that are sober in AA are like doing great in life, because they're sober and they got their life together. So it's just crazy. And I had this AA God, and I'm like, I prayed, something happened. This is real. But AA is pretty loosey-goosey about the whole higher power thing, which I think is really good. And like a lot of people can come, and it doesn't matter your religion. You know what I mean? So, but I'm like, if God is real, like I need to look more into this. So I just started doing more research. I'm like, a lot of people read the Bible and stuff like that. So, I started going to Meg's Bible study after a little bit, and I was still kind of on the fence, and we were dating still too, and I was still kind of on the fence, and just had reservations about it for whatever reason. Growing up, I just had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Didn't really make sense. Some dude raised from the dead. Come on now, that's stupid. So it was like, but it was around Christmas time, and actually Meg's friend that moved out here was home visiting, and her pastor husband was home. And I was like, just kind of laid it out there. I'm like, you're a pastor. I want to talk to you about this. And I was like, yeah, I believe in this AA God. I don't know about this Jesus thing. Like, still is a little weird to me. And we read the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous together in this like group of like 5 or 6 friends that were Mike's friends. And everybody was dying laughing. And it's like, these 12 steps are literally what Jesus taught. It's literally the gospel. And I was just blown away. And I found out that like AA was founded by some Christians way back in the day. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. So then I kind of put my guard down and went all in and started reading and like praying and thinking. And I was just like only praying, like, in Jesus' name only, like, God, if you're real, this is real. Like, I only, like, just started only praying in that way. So it was like, if God is still working in my life, I know I'm asking it in Jesus' name in a way, you know? That's my weird thing in my head. I was like, just, is this real or not? And then it just became absolutely undeniable to me over time. And after Jesus came into my life, like, I started really diving into the, 500 eyewitness accounts that happened. And it's like, this was a real historical figure. I don't need to get into it, but it's like the facts of it and the research of it and stuff like that. And just him working in my life was when I was like, okay, yeah, this is 100% true. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I would like to preface that if you are interested in joining their Bible study group or anything like that, they are always open doors. And that's for anybody. I mean, like me and Josh have gone before, we're not religious, and it's super welcoming and fun. So if you guys are interested at all, just let Jack and Meg know. They would love to have more people.
Love it. Thank you.
Ready to play a little game? It's not really a game. It's more of like just like fun, loving, like questions, more CrossFit-y.
Okay. All right.
So the first one: have you ever had a serious injury, or just an injury at all? And that doesn't have to be CrossFit. It can be your football days or anything in that realm.
Not really. I was in 7th grade and I wanted to dunk on a 10-foot basketball hoop, which is a normal one. So we had a mini trampoline, and I hung for like a quarter second. My finger slipped and I broke my arm in the driveway. That's really the only injury I've had.
Okay.
Like, shoulders popped out a few times in football. But we ran the Chicago Marathon, Meg and I together. And since that day, my knee's been a little messed up. So it goes through phases. It's not like a problem, but sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, something's going on. But
Flares up.
yeah, but no real, like, I've been blessed, honestly. Like, I roll my left ankle like twice a year and it hurts for a week, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite CrossFit movement?
Does bench count?
Yeah.
I like bench. I like bench.
What about your least favorite CrossFit movement?
The stupid, when you're on the ground like this, you have to stand up.
The Turkish get up?
Yes. Oh my God.
Why?
I feel like it's going to fall on my head and squash it. Like, freaks me. And it's hard and, yeah. And
You literally picked the movement we do the least. It feels like.
That's
good.
I like this gym. It's great. Yeah.
What's your favorite Salty Hive benchmark?
Maybe Diane. That's fine.
Salty Diane.
It's good because I'm good at strict handstand push-ups. I'm good at handstand push-ups. But I'm not that great at deadlifts. But I'm getting better at them. So it's fun.
But the weight's kind of not really a problem, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
What's the worst physical activity experience you've ever had?
The marathon.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Was it horrible? Why?
Yeah. It was, well, I didn't train enough for it, so it's my fault. I think we got up to like 16 miles or something in training. It was fun doing that with Meg. It was early on in dating, so it was like you go on zone 2 conversational pace all the time. It was fun. But I think we got up to 16 miles or something like that, and obviously that's not a full marathon. So I thought we were good, and that took all morning. I was like, I don't need to do that again. I think I'm good. And then my knee's telling me otherwise. But we were going, and it was like halfway through, I felt pretty good, and then somebody told me it's like once you get to 20 miles, that's the halfway point. And they were true. That was
Like
correct.
that's because the rest is long.
Yeah, it's like if you actually go by like how hard it is, it's like the first 20 miles is just as hard as the last
3
6 or
or
three,
6.
whatever.
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
no, it's 6. It's 26.
And I was begging Meg, I'm like, can we please just walk a little bit? And she's like, no, we're running the whole thing. You could do it. I could do it. You could do it. So I'm like, so I had to run with her, and it was like, so it was, and right after, it was like, my brother ran it too, but he's a little runner. So he was like, we weren't even close to the finish line, and he texted me a picture of him eating a burger and drinking a beer. And he started at St. Thomas. So after that, I was like throwing up. I'm like, but I didn't eat anything but gel crap. So it was like, couldn't even throw up anything. Not a great day, but it was super fun. If I get back in time, I would do it again.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Would you do it again?
I'm a one and done. I wouldn't do it a second time, but if I could go back in time, like I would do it one time just to experience it.
Okay, I get it.
It was really cool doing it in Chicago too. Like you start in the heart of downtown, you go up to Wrigleyville where the Cubs play, come back, go out to where the Bulls, the Blackhawks play, come back, go down to where the White Sox play, and come back. So it was like, and they shut down the whole city. It was really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
And just like, I think it was over 1 million spectators or something like that. So it was a cool experience.
That is cool. Okay, last one. What are your current goals, things you're working towards? That can be in CrossFit, that can be in business life, the family,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think I have a lot of goals, obviously, to like honor Meg and have a great marriage and just keep bringing God to people and start a fun family. I'm so excited to have a family. I don't know how many kids we're gonna have, probably not that many, but that's fun to think about. And
You're so excited, you're just gonna keep them coming.
yeah, yeah, pretty easy for me. You'll have to ask Meg after she goes through all that. But yeah, business, I have certain metrics I want to hit, and kind of some autonomy that I want to have, and just keep growing it though, because it's going decent. Like some days are great, some days are awful. Like, but yeah, just keep growing that. And then CrossFit, it's like CrossFit's fun because there's a gajillion different things in it, and there's just always things to get better at. And it's like, oh, I really want to get better at this movement, ring muscle ups for me. And it's like, okay, I actually make some progress. It's like, wow, you stink at overhead squats. And it's like, okay, and there's just always levers to pull, progress to be made. And I think ultimately it's like, sometimes I'm like, especially when the open comes around, I get pretty competitive. And when I get called out on Instagram and everybody watches me lose, and it's like, okay, like, that's fun. But it's also like, the goal is to be just healthy, functional fitness, be able to play with my kids, do whatever. Like, you know, I don't need to overhead squat 300 pounds or whatever the heck Justin does, but like, you know, be able to put the groceries away or whatever. Like, just be overall healthy, but also it's really fun to be competitive. But I remind myself when I get embarrassed in front of the whole gym, thanks to you, it's like, that's not what it's all about, you know? So obviously it's fun to get better and get better at everything and all the individual movements and stuff. But just as long as I'm healthy, happy, like, it's really the only real goal that I want to hit, you know?
That's cool. I love it. And then last thing, how many years sober are you?
I just hit, a couple weeks ago, I hit 5 years.
Oh, heck yeah. Yay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
Nope.
Was that easy or scary? Or
It was easy. You're a good host.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. You did good. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.